Oh yeah, you guys want to talk about Switch? Yeah, let's go through the presentation. Dude, the Switch event. Alright, we'll talk about the Switch event first. And then talk about the race and shit. And then I'll play DKC 2. Switch 2017 presentation. So a lot of things happened during the event, but at the same time, basically nothing happened during the event. So, is this Sonic? Okay. So, what happened during the event? Wow, why is Discord so small? I wrote a bunch of shit in my Discord about what happened. And the majority of it was lame. Okay, so like the first thing that they said, they had like this DJ playing and shit. Yeah, and they kept doing this snapping the finger thing. I don't know what that was about. But anyway, so Switch is coming out for 300, which is pretty much, I would say that's pretty much what everyone was expecting it to be. But the thing that's crazy, look at these look at these prices for peripherals, and this is what I thought would happen. This is what I thought would happen, and it did happen. The Switch is gonna be like fucking a peripheral. I can't even say the word peripheral fuckfest. Like a Pro controller is $70, right? Doesn't come with the Switch itself. You have to get that separately. And then if you want to get extra Joy-Con controllers, $80 for a pair. And then like I don't even understand why they're selling separate Joy-Con left and Joy-Con right controls. Probably if you lose them, but that's about all I can think of. Yeah, but I think I understand why people think it should have been $250 because like 300 sounds fair, but I think that would have blown a lot of people away if they made it even just like 250. But the price of peripherals are freaking crazy. But luckily, at least like it comes with a charging grip with it. But I don't know. I have a big problem with them. Like if you look at the presentation, there's like at some point where they're going through like all the different ways that you can play like Switch games. Like you can play, dude, they even brought I wish I could find it. They brought a guy on a couch and he's like, you can even play with separate Joy-Con controllers and split, and he's like lying on a couch on stage for some reason, and that was like the only reason they brought the couch out. But they keep pushing this idea of like, oh yeah, you can play with a left and right Joy-Con controller and you can play multiplayer, and they push that so much, that idea. And I was just like, this is the same thing as like, this feels like the same as on the Wii U when they started pushing the idea of like, oh yeah, you can put the gamepad on the floor and then you can play golf and you can actually look at the golf ball on the floor. But no, like how many people are gonna do that? And that's the same thing with like playing multiplayer on like separate Joy-Con controllers. And if you look at the controller, this is something I complained about a while ago, but if you look at the D-pad, they have like a split D-pad here, and everyone, like, it's pretty clear, it's pretty obvious now why they did this. It's so you can like play with separate Joy-Con controllers. But I think that's dumb. They should have put an actual D-pad. They shouldn't have pushed that idea so much, because I think it's gonna hurt the system overall. But that's just me. And dude, I don't understand. Where's this part? This part was like, let's see if I can find it. The part with the ice. I know everyone was like, what the fuck is happening? I know they want to innovate, but to me, like, I don't know if they're just not really focusing on the right thing. Like they have the perfect hardware to be like, hey, look, this is what we're doing that no one else is doing. You can play on a TV, or you can play like on the go. Like those two things are fine. But then the majority of the presentation was like, oh yeah, you can also play with like motion controls and shit. And it's like that's the exact same thing they did for the Wii. There's no different. That's like 10 years ago. And pretty much every other major, like the other major players like Sony and Microsoft, they've already done the motion control thing and they're already over it. Like they've already gone back to doing classic and like a classic control scheme because that's what everyone wants to play on. Like people don't want motion controls anymore. Like that's done. And it was really weird for me because like going into the presentation, my thought was like, wow, Nintendo's like finally going away from motion controls and right. But then all of a sudden, fucking 80% of this was like, oh yeah, we can do motion controls now. I'm like, you already did that. That's no different to what you did the last two generations. It's like, I understand like this idea of like, yeah, you want to innovate and stuff, but this is not an idea that anyone cares about. Like, you can't tell me what you were looking at this and being like, oh, I want to play. I want to get a Switch now. Look at these cowboys. And let's see, I posted this earlier before. You wanna know, if you want a summary of where Nintendo's head is at, let me show you. Let me show you where Nintendo's head is at. Let me see if I can find it. This is a perfect video to show you exactly where their head is at. Hopefully I can find it. Where is it? Dude, I have it somewhere. Alright, here it is. Let me show you guys. What the fuck is this? Tell me, like, what the fuck is this? Don't, like... This is the next generation, guys. This right here is next generation. This is the first game that they announced. The very first game in their presentation they announced was this. This is the game. This is 1-2 Switch. And by the way, this isn't a pack-in game. This is a full price game. This is a $50 game that doesn't come with the Switch. Like, a lot of people are saying this should have been a pack-in game, right? And the other thing is, like, even if this was a pack-in game, this isn't pushing Switch. This isn't pushing Switch sales at all. Like, the thing, this isn't like the Wii Sports of the Switch. That's what the Switch needed. They needed something to demonstrate why you want to get a Switch. That's exactly what Wii Sports did. Like, a lot of people might want to shit on Wii Sports, but that thing pushed millions of consoles. If it wasn't for that game, like, the Wii could have been way different. Like, look at this. What is this? No one, like, they're playing to the wrong crowd, which really surprised me, honestly, because if you look at the let's look at the original Switch trailer, right? Let's watch the original Switch trailer. Let's see if I can find it. I don't know if I can find it. Which one was it? Is it this one? Yeah, this is the first one that came out. This was a great trailer to me because, like, look, you got all these young people playing. They're playing, they're just playing, this is bullshit, but you don't have, like, any kids or parents and stuff. And then, all of a sudden, this shit, where is it? they're pushing motion controls again for some reason. I don't understand why. But anyway, that was the first thing. So I'm just gonna keep that playing so you guys can watch. So that was the first 1-2 switch was announced. So if you like, I don't know if you guys know what 1-2 switch is, but from what I know, I didn't really like pay much attention to it because like, what the fuck is this? But basically it's like one person does one action with the Joy-Con, and then it goes 1-2 switch, and then the next person has to copy your action, and then you just alternate like that, and then they score you based on who copied the other guy the best or something. That's what 1-2 switch is. So that's nothing. Look at this guy cup the balls. He's cupping the balls. But yeah, it's nothing that you couldn't have done with the Wii. So yeah, the haptic feedback thing, I'll admit, is something that I would have to try before I understand like what the big deal is. But basically they're like, oh yeah, it's, you can like feel you know, what's like you're holding a cup of glass, like a glass of ice or something. Like it's somewhere here. Here.
And scissors. You can even tell. 1.
So this is the HD Rumble, basically.
The
And
number of
what I gather from this is it's basically just a normal like haptic feedback, except there's 3 separate motors in it. That's what I gather from it. I don't think it's like, I don't think it's gonna be that much more complicated than that, but again, like I have to like try it myself to see what it feels like. But yeah. What else came out? And then after 1-2 switch, so that's 1-2 switch. What else came after that? Then after that was ARMS. Now, like, I gotta admit, like, the actual game itself, what it looks like, it doesn't look terrible. Like, the characters look kind of cool. It's a cool idea for a new IP. Like, I'm not mad at this. The name's kind of weird, ARMS. But it definitely look like, this is something that, if you see these characters, you're gonna know, like, it's ARMS. No other character has springs for arms. Right? It looks interesting, but then look at the way you play.
Is a fighting sports game that uses extendable arms to battle.
Look at the way that you're playing.
It's like boxing, where you hit your opponent with punches. But it's also like shooting.
I can't see anyone playing with motion controls anymore. Like, it's, motion controls are done.
Play arms.
I don't see a game using motion controls as the primary mode to play it. And this kind of goes against, like, you know, the whole idea of you can play a game at home or you can play it on the go. Who's gonna play this on the go? It can be played with normal controls, okay. But, like, I don't know why they're pushing this so much. But again, I said the game looks fine, but I just don't understand the motion controls.
Cover high-level technique for the characters who appear in the game.
Like, it looks unique. When I see a character with springs for arms, I know exactly what's gonna be. Like, I joked about arms, but it's fine. What happened after ARMS? I missed some of this presentation as well. What else did I write down?
I hope you'll look forward to it. Next, let's switch to this.
Oh yeah, the puns in this were pretty incredible. Splatoon I'm not gonna talk about a lot because I don't know a lot about a Splatoon, but looks fine. This guy was hilarious. This guy with his like
weapons let you shoot aim from each hand. They also have nozzles that can propel you at a high rate of speed to outmaneuver your opponents. It is a fearsome weapon in the hands of one who has mastered it.
Maybe Leorn, but I don't see that becoming a viable thing this generation, but I could be proven wrong.
course,
maybe you're right.
use
Maybe it
remote
will make
controllers,
sense if they have,
but you can
because
also play using the Pro
it's
controller.
for what it seems like VR is
On a TV
gonna be a thing on the Switch,
can
but I
also
don't
play
see
with
how
your
that's
own
possible.
button assigned to a teammate
But,
to instantly Splatoon.
This.
Yeah. So next thing after this is Odyssey. This is by far the best thing in the event. Odyssey. So this game to me, from what it looks like, just looking at the way Mario moves and stuff, it feels like it's gonna be closer to Mario 64 than Galaxy. Because if you played Galaxy and Mario 64, you know that the movement is definitely really different. Like, let me see. Like, you can just tell by the way Mario moves. Like, there's triple jumping again. There's diving again and rolling. You see, see the dive and roll. Like, this game looks really cool. To me, this is like what is it? Yeah, see, I don't know what these triangles are. But every environment looks really, really different and it looks really cool. I'm hoping it's more like Mario 64 in that, like, every level is kind of, you can explore every level starts from the same position and you can explore it however you want to. Because in Galaxy, like, if you played Galaxy recently, that game, even though it's kind of like free exploration, it's really not. Like, every star is linear, and there's really only one way you can go for each star. But yeah, this actually looks something I'm pretty excited for. Like, it kind of feels like, dude, they made Bowser a pimp. Like, that's a class, like, you can just tell that Nintendo doesn't give a fuck, and they're like, you know what, we're gonna just roll with anything. We'll make Bowser a pimp, you know? We just don't care. And this New York City stage, like, I was so surprised that this is actually a Mario game, but it looks like this is actually gonna be a level in the game, at least. And you can throw the hat as well. It looks like the hat is gonna be something that's really important for the game. Like, look at the way he throws the hat and then he jumps off it. The lion thing. Like, the game just looks more, I don't know if it's gonna be linear or not, but I hope it's not. But yeah, I don't have anything really negative to say about this. It just looks crazy. There's so many, like, unique areas in this game that you haven't really seen in a Mario game. And obviously the hat is going to be something important because of the eyes and stuff. Yeah. There's nothing really negative I can say about that.
Hello, everyone.
After this, I left,
Sorry
so I
for my
don't
ignorance.
really know, but I don't really give a fuck about any of the games.
Xenoblade
Xenoblade 2, what else?
Simultaneously have a hand in the newest Mario game.
Yeah, I
New
didn't
games for
watch
the
this
Nintendo
part,
Switch
but I
and
don't really give a
Game
fuck about
Pass.
anything that's in here. Skyrim,
This
what
new
else?
hardware is taking on new.
One model will also be available.
What else did I say? Yeah, if you look up the line, I don't have the lineup here, but I'm not really the lineup of launch games for the Switch doesn't really look like. Basically, here's what I'm gonna say. if you don't like Zelda games, which I don't, right? If you don't like Zelda games, what is there for the Switch? Like, is there anything for the Switch? Between Zelda and Mario, which is going to be like, Mario's not even a launch game. Like, between Zelda and Mario, what is there that anyone has anything to be excited about? Like, I can't think of anything. Like, ARMS? Yeah, and that's the thing. If you really like Zelda, it's coming out for the Wii U. And all these people are saying like, oh yeah, but you know, the graphics are way different and are going to be a lot different in the Switch version. Like, if you look at side-by-side comparisons, like, yeah, there's a difference, but when you're playing, you're not going to notice. And then it's like, yeah, you can play on the go and stuff, but how are you, like, who's going to play Zelda games on the go? Seriously, who's going to play it on the go? And the thing, what else? Like, the battery life for the Switch is like 2.5 to 6 hours. You're not going to get 6 hours of Zelda on the go. You're probably going to get 2.5 hours. Like, that's really bad. Like, if you look a couple generations ago to the DS, like, just the battery life for portable devices today is getting fucking ridiculous. It's going down from like 6 hours or whatever down to like 3 hours, and we're supposed to just be accepting of that. Like, that's ridiculous that it's 2.5 hours. FPS on Wii is like 20 frames. I'm getting like mixed whatever messages about that. Some people are like, oh, it looks fine on the Wii U and stuff, but whatever. I'm sure if you really wanted to play Zelda games, you don't need to get it for Switch. But that's not even really what I'm saying anyway. Will Switch play GameCube games? That's the other thing that I found weird about this presentation. Was that like we were all what were we expecting to be in the like Switch presentation? We wanted to see like what the menus would look like how's the software gonna run? Does it have bullshit loading times for every little thing you want to do in the menu, or does it actually like look usable? We wanted to know about like the online infrastructure, and then what do they tell us? Online is gonna cost how much? I don't think they said, but online is paid now. It's paid, and in order to chat, this is something I looked up before the stream, in order to chat with friends and stuff, which I'm sure they're gonna have bullshit friend codes or whatever again. In order to chat with friends, you need to have the phone app. Like, I was reading, you can't do it natively through the menus in the game. So how is that any different to setting up a Discord room with your friends? I don't understand how it's any different, and you have to pay for that. So I don't like, well, what exactly is Nintendo offering for their online infrastructure, and they're asking us to pay for it? That's something I just don't know. What else do you want to know? Virtual console, we didn't get anything on that. Like, something I really want to know, like, this is probably obvious, or obviously they'd be stupid not to do this, but virtual console games, like, hopefully when you buy a virtual console game, hopefully you own it for all your Nintendo consoles from now on. Because like now, if you bought a virtual console game on the Wii, you have to buy it again on like the 3DS, buy it again on the Wii U, and blah blah blah. Like, hopefully they solve that problem where you can just buy it once and then you own it across all your consoles now. Other thing is like GameCube virtual console games, like no word of that, but that's not saying that they won't have GameCube virtual console games. But I'm just surprised they didn't mention anything about that. But that being said, even if they did, it's like the only thing pushing, besides Zelda and Mario, the only thing that's really being pushed for Switch is like ports. Like, yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, we're supposed to be excited about that. It's the same thing that I have on my Wii U, and I have to buy it again. Like, I don't want to buy games that I already own for a new console. It's gonna cost like $300 plus, and then I have to get a $70 controller for it. It's like, I can see why everyone is pretty bummed out about the presentation, because we're just over a month from the console being released. Like, just over a month. And we don't know anything about it. It didn't answer any questions. They should just put Steam on Switch. You know, I'm not even like,
Reggie-san, Miyamoto-san,
I wouldn't be opposed to Nintendo just being like, next generation, just being like, you know what, we're not actually that good at making hardware anymore. Like, we can't make our own online infrastructure that's actually competitive with anyone else. Like, if they just admitted that and said, we're just gonna release games for other platforms, like, I would totally be on board for that. Because a lot of people, like,
Miyamoto-san,
they buy Nintendo consoles because it's the only console that you can get Nintendo games
the
on.
Nintendo that we've shown enough.
And I don't know, it's holding back. I think it's holding back Nintendo. Like, people think that Nintendo going third party is a meme, but I don't know. I think they should actually consider it, but they're not going to, obviously, because they're a Japanese country, and like, Steam is not a thing well, not that big in Japan. Just PC gaming in general. But yeah, again, Breath of the Wild, we already know this looks good. I don't know why, like, they ended the presentation on this, because this could have been the first thing they showed. But everyone's already hyped for Zelda. And I don't know, I just feel like I'm not a fan of Zelda games, but I feel like it's not gonna live up to the hype, because it's overhyped right now. But yeah, that's basically all oh yeah, what else? I said one thing. Switch comes with a Joy-Con left, right, straps. The straps look kind of cool, I guess, but again, Switch, when it comes to peripherals, I think yeah, it's gonna be a peripheral fuckfest. Because, like, not only do you have, like, the Joy-Con left, Joy-Con right, Joy-Con grip, Joy-Con Pro, and then you got the straps that you have to carry around if you actually want to take it off, like, the actual, like, tablet thing. Like, there's too much going on, and then other people are, like, people are gonna be like, oh, I want to have a Joy-Con left controller that has an actual D-pad, and then you have to go out and buy that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, that's about all I had to say for Switch. But just overall I'm wasn't too happy with it. Yeah, I mean, you can buy Joy-Con controllers separately, but why would you unless you lose one? Like, I can't think of any sane reason for why you would buy a single Joy-Con other than if you lost one. And they're $50 alone. So, yeah. Switch D-pad design does let you do Simple's glitch run on console, though. I mean, yeah, but that's not a reason why you should change the D-pad. Like, the D-pad, you know, Nintendo is known for making platformers, and to like play a good platformer, you need a D-pad. So I'm pretty bummed out that they got rid of it for a split D-pad. But I don't know, who knows, it could work fine, but I just have a feeling it's not gonna replace an actual, like, physical D-pad. Like, you don't have that option if you're playing on the go anymore at all. And, like, even if you want to play virtual console games, like, even if you don't use the D-pad that much for Switch games, like you do use the D-pad for Virtual Console games. So that basically eliminates it from being usable for a whole bunch of Super Nintendo games, NES games, or whatever. Like, I think that's something that you don't even need to try it out to know. But yeah, that's it for Switch. I'm done. I'm all talked out for that. What else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, DKC.